Again to. Okay. I can't. Like. Far. It throws. Yeah. Yeah, baby. TGS prop. Depending. Oh, yeah. In-depth evaluation. Prop. Nice. Going fast. 3S. Oh yeah. 8 kilohertz on the as I'm pushing the speed up. Victory roll. Okay, we'll show off here. Dead stick. Hi everyone. So many of you have probably already seen that little montage there of some of my best high-speed passes for 2018. Anyway, I sort of did that last year when I did this same video, so I might as well continue the trend. So today I just wanted to kind of go through a bit of a review of my year in 2018, and then talk about some projects that I have upcoming right now in 2019 anyway, things that I've been thinking about for a while. So let's just get right into it. So I watched my video from last year. I'm very happy to say overall I've just had an outstanding year building and flying park jets, doing all kinds of testing and evaluation and all that sort of stuff. It's been one of my best years ever. So some of the goals that I had set for myself last year, I think I've accomplished all of those goals and then some. So one of my goals was to increase the educational content of this channel and my blog. So I managed to get that done. Very busy, probably first 6 months of the year, doing all that sort of stuff. But I got my Park Jet Workshop video series done. I have a playlist of that, talking about all the broken down into all the different materials that I use for building my park jets. I went and did a beginner park jet build series, step by step, building an RC Powers MiG-29 version 1, showing some of the basic beginner type of build techniques that I've used and that have worked for me really well. So I managed to get that sorted out. Numerous table talk videos, field test videos, on quad racing motors, which is essentially what I've switched to 100% on pretty much all the planes that I fly, that I build for me to fly. Quad racing motors, props, speed controllers, batteries. I also sort of wrapped up the bulk of after sort of, I guess, a year and a half of buying, testing, and evaluating I think well over 14 different quad racing motors. I sort of wrapped that up, and now I use primarily what I consider my sort of top 3-4 primarily for me. But anyway, I've got that wrapped up. So it doesn't mean I won't do more testing on different motors in the future. I guess like a lot of humans, I'm a bit of a crow, so when a new shiny thing comes along, I've got to go grab it and take it to my nest and have a look at it, kind of thing. So, but I don't anticipate doing a whole lot more. Just if something that really comes along that I find exciting, I will evaluate. So a couple of bonus things. I ended up, I guess, as I sort of found the best, most powerful, fastest quad racing motor and park jet combination, I sort of got off on this, trying to get a park jet to go 100 miles an hour with a single quad racing motor in it. So I got very close. I think the highest number I saw was about 98.5 miles per hour. Unfortunately, the GPS data logger that I was using has pretty much crapped out, so I don't have that anymore, but I'm going to probably save my pennies and buy another one, actually an updated version of the other one that I had, and hopefully it'll be a bit more reliable. I don't have telemetry for any of my transmitters or any of that sort of stuff. So anyway, I will be revisiting that. I'll talk about that a bit more. So that was kind of a bonus. I hadn't really set out to do that, but you know, when I saw how fast some of my planes were going with the top end quad racing motors, you know, I just got the bug. Another thing that I decided to do was I've been doing a review for over 6 months now on this very inexpensive FlySky FSI-6 transmitter. I've created a video playlist on my YouTube channel, as well as a thread on the RC Powers forum, which I'll have linked down below. This is really just a, you know, I mean, it's a very inexpensive radio. I've only got about $50 American invested in it, other than some extra receivers. But you know, for the price, just a really great beginner transmitter, and you know, you could. I've been using it quite a bit in evaluating it. I mean, you could use it pretty much long term as well. I mean, it obviously doesn't have some of the features of some more expensive transmitters, but really good. So that was kind of a bonus thing. On my blog, I rewrote a series. It's about an 11-part series called Which Park Jet for Me. I had that on the old NAMC blog, and I brought that over to my ParkJet blog and updated it quite a bit. So anyway, that was a big goal of mine, got that ticked off. I updated my building with Dollar Tree Foam or Adams Ready Board series. I've been building a lot of planes now from Adams Ready Board for, I guess, coming to be pretty close to 2 years this spring. Either, you know, full up planes with Adams Ready Board, or primarily with the Dollar Tree Foam, just because it's inexpensive and readily available to me. So I managed to get that done. And then I wrote, obviously in conjunction with this channel, I wrote various reports on my motor, prop, speed controller, battery testing, because I switched over to some newer speed controllers, and as I've had to replace old batteries, I've also spent a little extra money and have been using some pretty high quality batteries, Gens Ace and Tattoo R-Line batteries. Been very pleased with those. Okay, so in 2018, some new planes that I built that I've never flown before. The modified RC Powers T50 version 5. This blue and white one back here on the wall. This time last year, I was actually working on the build log. I did a build log on my blog, but I didn't actually fly it until this year, or yes, this year, 2018. We're still in 2018. Awesome plane, really love it. I also built a new modified RC Powers F15 version 5, which you've seen in some of my videos. Again, really impressed with that plane, and just been having a heck of a good time with it. It's very fast, very agile. Actually the F15 and T50, although they're different in size and obviously very different airplanes, their agility, quickness, and speed are actually very similar, so I'm really happy with those. And one other one that I've been working on, and this is kind of a new project, is this. It's a design by a fellow on YouTube, Ground Control RC, GCRC. This is the F-22 Mini version 3. Last year I had mentioned that one of my projects for 2018 was to build actually one of his microplanes, but as time went along, I realized that probably this mini size, this is actually a 22-inch wingspan, and it's a replacement for a version 2 plane that he had designed. So I've been lucky enough and humbled to help him out with the testing. Between the two of us, I think we probably have, we're probably getting close to 160, 170 flights in testing. This is not the final version, this is kind of the alpha and then we'll be moving on to beta, which is essentially some changes. This is actually a modified alpha build, and we'll be doing some changes on the beta build, which are essentially some changes to the plans to help make the build a little bit easier, get things aligned nice and true. But yeah, I've been having a heck of a good time with this, I should say. Got about 79 flights on it now. Very lightweight, inexpensive quad racing motor. This is Elevons only. All built with Dollar Tree foam. So because it's so inexpensive, you know, if you were just kind of getting in the hobby or you wanted to get a young person into the hobby, you know, you pair it up with, I've been flying mine exclusively on this FlySky FSI 6 transmitter. You could easily get started on a park jet for under $100 US. So yeah, so just been having a heck of a good time, and really honored and humbled. I have my Ground Control RC test pilot T-shirt here. Hopefully you can see, which he was kind enough to send me. So I'm sort of the Ground Control RC Skunk Works North up here in Canada. So that's a new plane. I did a lot of flying, a lot more flying this year than I did in 2017, because I didn't sort of feel like I didn't sort of have any periods of burnout this year. I guess I did a better job of pacing myself. So I averaged about 100 flights a month for a total of about 1,200 flights this year, compared to 950 the year before. So that's a pretty good jump, and you know, I hope to continue with that trend. Okay, so projects for 2019. My top priority is to help Ground Control RC finish up the F-22 Mini, which will include, when we get to the point where we're happy with the plans and the plane, how everything is working out, I will be doing a build log series on my blog, you know, to help with the instructions and, you know, help people that might want to build it. And then after that's done and released, Elevons only, it's my plan. I've been discussing it with Ground Control RC already. I'm going to really take it up a notch and build an advanced version with full controls, Elevons, ailerons, rudders, and, you know, maybe even a bit of a special power system. I haven't quite decided yet. We'll see how things are able to balance out on the final CG. So I'm going to have down below in the comments, I'll have a link to Ground Control RC's YouTube channel. He has an excellent channel. It's just full of tips, tutorials. He has a series called The Pilot's Lounge, where he talks about a lot of the projects that he works on, as well as reviews of several planes and even some RC car stuff that he's purchased. And so just a phenomenal wealth of information there. I'll also have a link to his Patreon channel. He has a lot of good free info there. So please check out the comments down below, and I highly encourage you to go check out Ground Control RC's YouTube channel and Patreon site. Alright, so that's going to be my top priority for probably the first 2 to 3 months of this year, of 2019. Next up, I've already sort of been just slowly puttering away on the build. I'm going to be building an FRC, modified FRC Foamies FA-18 Hornet. It'll be my first rear mount, where the motor is on the very back of the plane. My first rear mount park jet. So you know, I'm taking my time, since it's a whole new build setup for me. I want to make sure that I get that right. So that'll be something that I'll finish up before spring. Again, I mentioned it already, I'm going to revisit my 100 mile an hour project. I think to really just have the best success, I'm going to build a completely stripped down version of the RC Powers SU-30 version 4, so it'll be Elevons only. I've had a couple of great comments from some folks and feedback from folks on the RC Powers forum, so I'll probably experiment with some thinner KF airfoils, Elevons only, to keep it super light. You know, make sure that I do everything I can to make the airframe as light, strong, and sleek as possible, to see if I can't break that 100 mile an hour barrier. So that'll be something that I'll be doing, you know, later this winter, early spring as well once the other projects are done. I'll build a summer version probably of the SU30 V4 again with all the controls to allow the red, white, and blue sort of winter beater version. The SU30 that I've been flying a lot, kind of give that the summer off, and then if it survives this winter, I should say, give that the summer off, and then use that as my winter beater plane because it's just so much fun to fly. I'm toying with the idea of building an RC Powers SU34 version 5 with the full controls, and doing another video series as kind of a intermediate park jet build. Maybe if you've gone from the MiG-29 version 1 or some other fairly simple profile park jet, this will be something, the score and fold, which will have some more intermediate style build techniques, and setting up a park jet with full controls, ailerons, and rudders. I'll go through that, and again I'll probably match that up with the FlySky FSI-6 to keep it fairly simple. So that's another. It is billed as kind of a trainer slash aerobatic plane. The SU-34 version 4, which I never built, but it was extremely popular as a trainer for RC Power. So this is kind of the update to that, and I like it because it's a little bit smaller. I'm going to just put a standard power setup in there, 2212, 2200. I'm not going to mess around with it initially with a quad racing motor setup, but anyway, that's something that I'm thinking about to do. I may build another NAMC MiG-35B with a sort of a 25.5-inch wingspan. The one I currently fly now is a 27-inch, full scale wingspan. I've also built one at 24 inches. The 24-inch one was super fast, not as fast as the SU-30 version 4, but very fast, stable, but a little bit small for my liking. It was a little bit too agile. So I'm going to kind of split the difference maybe and build one that 25.5-inch wingspan, but that'll be a fairly low priority for builds. And then a lot of the motors, speed controllers, batteries that I've been using coming up this spring and summer, I will have been using those for a year. And because I do fly so much, as I mentioned before, I should hopefully have, my long-term evaluation on many of those items, as well as my sort of long-term one-year final wrap-up on the FlySky FSI-6 transmitter. So those will be, projects that I'll be just kind of wrapping up throughout the year as I, get to the point where I feel that I've put those components and this transmitter through their paces sufficiently enough to wrap that up. And then, as always, fly. I just that's why I'm in this hobby. I just I love to build and I love to tinker with and test these things, but as you can tell by some of the goofy laughs and things that I have when I'm out there ripping around, that's the thing that I enjoy the most is the actual flying. So yeah. So to wrap it up, I just again I wanted to say a huge thank you to everyone that supports me here on this channel, that supports my blog. I'm going to be getting that going again. I've kind of haven't really done a lot on the blog lately, but I haven't really had a whole lot of stuff to write on there. But I will be with build logs on the on this little beauty here, as well as the SU-34 version 5 from RC Powers, which I probably will build as well. Much appreciated. Appreciate those people that do support me as well on the RC Powers forum. I've got a couple of threads there that I try to keep active on quad racing motors in park jets, as well as this transmitter. So appreciate your feedback and support. Much appreciated. Again, big shout out to Ground Control RC for including me in in the testing and evaluation of the Mini F-22 Mini version 3. You know, it's been a heck of a good time. It's been a long time since I've sort of tested and evaluated a completely brand new plane to me. You know, from a standpoint of, you know, new plans, prototype plans, plane, all that sort of stuff. So I've been really enjoyed that. So again, you know, big thank you. I mean, you know, sometimes you're just, you know, hearing back from you that people are actually watching some of the stuff that I do. I mean, I know some of my table talks and things can get a little dry, but you know, for those of you that respond, you know, it helps keep me motivated to you know, to share what I have been doing. I've, you know, over 6 years now of building and flying foam park jets, and you know, that helps keep me motivated to keep going and providing feedback on what I've done, and also, you know, thinking of new ways that I can kind of pay back and pay forward to the park jet community as well, which, you know, has given me so much. So a big thank you. I wanted to wish everyone a very safe and happy and prosperous 2019 for all of you. You know, you and your family and friends, loved ones. Thanks again so much for watching. Blue skies, calm winds to everyone. Park jet noise, the other sound of freedom, baby. Take care.